No stud.
Your campaign message called it. Like, for people to show this transparency.
But it's funny because he's referencing people on the street yelling at Judas that they're not the real Judas.
That's not an issue. Winning isn't really necessarily the goal for me. My goal is to make him look electable.
He's just saying that, like, he will have some Jewish whatever, but it's not population geneticist or whatever. Like, the only thing that's relevant, he keeps saying this over and over, the only thing that's relevant to me is just the population genetics. Like, when we take Igbo DNA, how similar is it to bodies of people we find in Levant in 500 BC or whatever? That's the only thing that's relevant. That's gonna look it up just today, about, like, how similar to how many Jews were and stuff. Well, I guess it's the numbers. Of course, it's ChatGPT numbers, so don't take my grain of course. But they said that Beta Israel are like, I don't know, 10 to 15% descended from DNA from Levant, which is still a lot. Whereas like Igbo Jews are like 0 to 2%. Whereas you compare that to like Samaritans. Like, it's like in the 90%, like the Druze, like the 90%.
So your people and Eagles kind of have the same similarities amongst genetic relations to Jewish people. Y'all kind of just the same,
So
honestly.
you think we act similar, or our genes are similar?
Y'all act similar.
Yeah, we're middle man minority. There's a whole book about middle minorities, about how across the world people tend to stigmatize them. So you've got like the Chinese and Malaysian.
Hours on a year. So what does that mean? It means that when you feel secure, psychologically secure, that if something were to happen, you'll be able to take care of the bills for a week or two. That will cause you to feel better and then go to work. That's an interesting dynamic here, right? It's a kind of like a placebo effect. I don't know how to describe it, Steve. I hope you can use the words better than I can here. Because what I found is that when people have income insecurity, that actually causes them to miss more work, not less. Weird result, right? You would think it's the opposite. It's a strange thing to conclude. But earned sick leave allows people to work more often. Now, see, there's a second way that I can interpret this study, and it's this. People want to cash out that sick leave. They want that extra week of work paid to them without them having to have work.
However, I don't think that's required by law. Vacation pay, as it accrues, if you don't take it, you're entitled to reimbursement. But generally, you're not entitled to pay for non-use sick days.
I think it depends on the states. It depends on the rules for each employer as well.
Like California.
Yeah, there's so many nuanced rules when it comes to that. You actually have to talk to your human resources. Okay, but in my company here, for example, when we give sick and vacation days.
Well, let's talk about your company in 30 seconds. You're dialed into the Workers' Rights Radio Show with attorney Robert Ozeron and myself, Stephen Bill. Robert and I have over 45 years of experience in workers' compensation, employment, and labor law. 310-999-9989. The law office of Robert Ozeron. Phones are open now. If you want to call or text, get it completely free. No obligation to consult with attorney Robert Ozeron. We're talking about earned sick leave, short-term paid time off for employees who are sick or injured or must care for their family members. Actually causes employees to work more hours. Robert was just about to tell us what it's like at his employment.
I was just saying here at my office for my employees, we do have sick and vacation time, and it's all vested depending on how much of a year you work. By vested, I mean it's yours. If you worked the full year and then you never took the sick day or vacation day, you will get paid out.
So it's like PTO, paid time off.
Correct, it's PTO. Correct, it's PTO. Now, so you can look at this two types that I handle is I'm underpaid, I'm underappreciated, and I'm overworked. I have a psychological injury, and people call my office, right? We settle those pretty quick. I actually like those cases, right? That's you don't even have to be there at the same job anymore. You can just say it was an old job where they didn't appreciate me, and my self-esteem was impacted, right? I mean, that's 20 grand very often that we settle fairly quick. That's why I like those cases. They may not be the $100,000, $200,000 cases, but they do settle fairly quick, and I like that. So when we do 20 grand, when we talk about that.
That's what you said. Y'all being about it. You didn't say anything else, but you was trying to say. You said, now take it back when you call me a liar.
I'm sorry. I take it back. My apologies. No, I said this. Y'all being in my business. Yes, I'm not tax dollars. This is yours tax dollars. I'm worried about people that live in a million spend $3 million. People that have come across this border that jump my over here. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, quick question. Go right about Donnie in fucking mayorship in New York City. That would be a fact. And they're Matt, what were the numbers? Matt, what were the numbers you said they were coming in a month? 200,000, quarter of a million? Did you see what That's right. So did you see what Dark Aaron, Matt, hold up, stop talking, please. Did you see what Dark Aaron put in the chat? 1 point, a little, 1 million, 1.3 annually. Do you know how many months that they're already here? Your math doesn't math anymore. Stop lying. This guy is.
valiant and honorable and just and good people. But in reality, all that they are filthy, mentally diseased defenders of pedophilia.
Alright, well, I can give you a little summary. So, detail Epstein's alleged secret life emerged in 2005 when several underage girls accused him of offering to pay for massages or sex acts at his Palm Beach mansion. Grand jury testimony unsealed later included accusations that Epstein was in his 40s at the time, had raped young girls as young as 14. Epstein avoided several charges in the case, striking an agreement to serve 13 months in prison on state prostitution charges and to register as a sex offender. A Justice Department review later found that U.S. Attorney Alex Acosta oversaw the agreement, exercised poor judgment in striking the deal. Acosta went on to serve as Trump's labor secretary in the first term. Dozens of additional women alleged that in 2018 that Epstein had abused them. That reporting pushed the Justice Department to open a new investigation into Epstein. He was indicted in New York with sex trafficking dozens of underage girls less than 1 year, pleaded not guilty to those federal charges. And then in August 2019, Epstein was found unresponsive in his cell in New York Correctional Center, was taken to the hospital, pronounced dead. That was quick and dirty, so if I miss anything, please add.
President of the United States hiding the Epstein files because he is an idiot. It's a question. It's an accusation. It implies Trump is a pedophile. My ears. And Trump hasn't responded. Some are taking this as an admission. Not me. I think, again, unless Musk does some serious ass digging, just the on the quick, Trump is going to sue him for defamation. And if Trump sues, I think he wins. Now, I don't often like Trump's use of litigation. I didn't like it when he threatened to sue my parents for giving birth to me. True story. And I don't like him suing 60 Minutes. Trump could argue, not only is the allegation false, but that Musk knows it's false. He knows what he said is BS. And then he could force a huge settlement or a humongous reward.
Okay, so I don't know too much about that, but we did just read earlier, a couple hours ago, that, what is the lawyer's name? That he said he's actually seen them. Yes, he's seen the list. He knows who's on the list, and some people it will definitely be a problem for some people. And he is bound because he's I don't know. He says the secret. Attorney-client privilege. Yeah. But we can't say it. Now, who are we supposed to believe in here? Because this is not going away. It's just article after article, clip after clip. Who are we supposed to believe? Is there a list?
Yeah, there is a list, and if you do a deep dive on is it called Deep Sea or whatever that AI is, it is saying that there's evidence and whistleblower accounts that suggest deeper ties between the Israeli and mafia figures, intelligence operatives, and U.S. hip-hop elites. That's what it says.
Look, regardless if they're the list or not, I don't think people really truly care about the list. They want to see people being prosecuted, right? These people raped dozens, if not hundreds, of women over and over repeatedly. They were underage, right? The only people that got prosecuted is Epstein and Ghislaine. Like, do people care about the list, or do they care about law enforcement going after these people? I mean, my thing is, I prefer to see
nature. Alternative Vienna Touré. Sayest thou methinks love of legende deore. The fault to corrigenda now son.
And a reporter
I didn't catch the next verse.
and at first somebody like picked up on it and it broke again 2 days ago. Saying he was having a press conference about something else. And the reporter said, let's go to and give the weapons to Ukraine. He was like, what are you talking about? And the reporter said, why were the weapons paused? He was like, I don't know. You tell me. So he was on the phone or whatever.
I just think
And he
to defend themselves. They defended themselves.
It might not affect you because of that way.
They defended themselves. They defended themselves.
It's one thing you say that
They defended themselves. Would you agree that they stood up and defended themselves? Would you agree?
would you agree that
Answer that question. I'm not talking about the stage.
there's people that don't smoke on the stage? Well,
I'm not
would
talking
you
about
agree
the
with that?
stage.
Can I tell you all I know?
You cannot answer the question with a question. Do you agree? Do you agree that the Ukrainians lasted longer than most people do it? Do you
action. The only action you can do is fire him. I mean, like, it's scandal after scandal after scandal with this individual that's supposed to have supreme confidence in that role. All he does is display clown ass behavior, immature decision making. He's a booking buffoon, and he's in a place of power, which he should not be. Fire him. Fire him.
Like the sneakers and the beats here on the cover.
They look better in person. I don't see why. But I met his director, and he's saying that he said something that he is not a real Democrat. He basically wrote one of us today, and he also said that they should be attacked. ICE plays a very valuable role, and nobody should be attacking ICE. I don't know. He just needs to change parties.
Wait, who needs to change parties? The dummy?
No, Fetterman.
Oh, I told you guys a long time ago we need to get rid of that. I mean, really, something is going on in his head. I don't know. It could be, it could be a reference of what happened when he had his mini stroke or whatever. But yeah, something has to happen with him.
Yeah, he says he doesn't agree with virtually any of Zoran Mandami's ideas. He's not even a Democrat, honestly. You want to know I could on Fox? I think, yeah, Fox. He was talking so important, that's what he was quoted as. And then he says, ICE performs an important job for our country. Any calls to abolish ICE are 100% inappropriate and outrageous. He tweeted that. Now, you guys, he may have forgotten, and I don't give him grace because he had a new lady. His wife was an undocumented immigrant for 15 years. His wife, Giselle Moreno, Moreno's wife, before she got a baby, she was undocumented for 15 years. Yeah, you crazy. I don't know. I feel like I'm looking at it. I know
Did you say he did?
he went on the record and he said, ICE performs an important job for our country. Any calls to abolish ICE are 100% inappropriate and outrageous. I don't know what that. And then, that's on his Twitter feed. And then in an interview, he said he doesn't agree with virtually any of Zoran Mandami's ideas. He's not even a Democrat, honestly. Yeah, he just needs to. His red pill is almost complete.
It's time for him to go. For real. I don't know. I'm not in his district, and there's obviously something going on with him. But every time he said something else like really, really inappropriate, a couple, I would have to look up all of Fetterman's bullshit and read to you, but he's really been off the rails.
Fetterman, can we talk about Donald Trump's dementia? Can we talk about that? Or must we just critique the Democrats? Let's get it. Can we talk about Donald Trump's dementia? How the Republicans are turning, okay, how the Republicans are turning the country upside down. How Charlie I ain't heard it.
Please give me some classic signs that showcase the future by Donald Trump. Some classic signs.
The fact that somebody asked him a question about the immigrants in school, and he started talking about he live in Palm Beach. What about that?
Is that
Or the fact that,
change the topic?
no, he didn't understand the question. Did not understand the question, and demonstratively senile and developing or living with dementia right in
Okay,
front
so,
of us every day. Demonstratively
Point
senile.
something out, okay? Over the history of America, we have had plenty of presidents that had some type of problems that probably should have been
I
dismissive.
don't want to talk
However,
about them. I want to talk about
no, 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 no. Let me land. Let me land. America is used to covering it up until the presidency is over. We don't know how to remove him. We've never done it. That's the point.
I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about the fact that this president is getting on the TV. The current president that we have is getting on the TV and babbling, talking incoherently in public press conferences and in diplomatic meetings. That's what
I
I'm
agree.
talking about. Well, we gonna
I
talk about
agree.
that.
Yeah, like, damn, I hear what you're saying. It's Dr. AJ's way. We're staying in the present, right? And for a president to get out there and say skedaddle, I don't think that's presidential vernacular. It's a very concerning.
He has dropped the F-bomb, he has dropped the S-bomb, he's grabbing this and that. I mean, I don't know, we gonna get a whole lot more with that.
It's a disgrace.
So I mean, would Dr. AJ would saying that I'm going to put a 50% tariff because he wants his friend out of some kind of prosecution in another country, would that be considered partially deranged or demented?
It's definitely megalomaniac. Like, yeah, and it would be a sign because as a lot of people, as they are in the stages of dementia, even when they treat the dementia patients, sometimes they give them antipsychotics because some of their behaviors are in line with like some psychological disorders. So his behavior could be, yeah, it could, all of that craziness that we think like he's crazy, it could be just how this dementia is indicating. So yeah, I would say.
So what else should we be looking for when he starts to fall into deeper stages or further along? What else are we gonna be looking for? Like, what else?
I don't know, because he's already talking like he's got a mouthful of drool. I guess we just need the drool to come out, I guess. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, so this is I got so much background noise I can't. This is the actual clip of when he starts rambling. I'm trying to find this stuff as we go along here. But this is a clip of him talking. They asked him a simple question, and oh, can I find this one better? Yeah, this will be fine. I'm not.
I don't go to a gay person and let's say, for great doing, let's say,
I do. Why don't you throw them on buildings? That's like the coolest thing. That's like the one thing I like Muslims are super cool for is they throw them on 10-story buildings. Like, okay, you faggot, you, but guess what? You won a last minute appeal. If you float back up on the way down, I'll grant your appeal, and you'll be saved. Amazing.
like I live in the Netherlands, right? In the Netherlands, there is a lot of like gay people. They even have the gay pride. I don't know if you've seen that. Like the gay pride, they go to the schools.
I don't pay attention to that. I don't pay attention to sodomites.
Okay, very good, because it's very wrong. Like they go half naked, there are children on the street. They see people like making out. It's very,
Throw them on buildings. It's a problem solved. I'm actually
like I get disgusted.